We are Steven and Jill. Together, we've been buying and reselling land since the 90s.
Our data-centric approach leaves our buyers asking, how can you sell it so cheap?
Here on the Land Academy Show,
We answer that and more. Steve and Jill here.
hello.
Welcome to the Land Academy Show, entertaining land investment talk. I'm Steven Jack Butala.
And I'm Jill DeWit, broadcasting from sunny, hot, almost. I guess it's not hot.
It's gorgeous out.
It's nice. All right, gorgeous southern Arizona. I don't have a good saying for this. We got to figure out the Arizona
it's okay.
saying.
Might take
All
a couple weeks.
It might. If you have any ideas, please put them in the links below and tell me what to say, because I clearly don't know what to say. But Arizona's awesome.
Today, Jill and I talk about our introduction to Land Academy Classroom. Jill and I are real proud of this. We, about a year ago, people started to ask us for like the next product. Great, you guys have a self-study product, but we really would like to be in some type of classroom setting where we can learn from you directly and we all go through it together and like a regular classroom.
And it's not an accountability group. This is something very different. We'll explain it here in a few minutes.
Before we get into it, let's take a question posted by one of our members on the landinvestors.com online community. It's free. And additionally, please join us on Discord if you're already a member of Land Academy.
Edgar wrote, I read that it costs $800 a year. Did he really write this? Is this you? But this is true?
This is all
This
true.
is true.
Yep.
No, I happen to know this is true.
I did not make this up in any way, not a word of it.
I thought you put this
all
in
real.
here because of me complaining.
Well, no, we're all going to have a little,
Okay.
this is going to be a little bit of a rant.
Okay, cool. All right, so Edgar wrote, I read that it costs $800 a year to maintain an LLC in California. Specific to California, are there any other out-of-the-ordinary LLC fees to be aware of in regards to establishing, maintaining, and or one day terminating the LLC? Whew. And Frank wrote, I'm going to read Frank's thing, correct on the $800 flat annual fee. There's a $70 filing fee and a $5 certified copy fee. Also, an operating agreement is not required, i.e. for single member LLCs between spouses or even multiple people. And it can be verbal, but it's not a good idea. So you may need an attorney to write up an operating agreement. Also, every 2 years, you have to submit a statement of information, which is a $12 fee. $20 fee. I'm just making up stuff here. There's no termination fee. So is there more to this, or is that the end of this? Oh, okay, cool. Happen to have personal inside information on this, too, and this is all true. It's expensive.
There's a reason we're sitting in Arizona right now and not California, and it's because of crap like this. They make everything, from a business owner's perspective, infinitely more complicated and expensive than it needs to be. I don't know how it got to be this way, but Jill and I are fed up with it, and that's the truth. There's no fee at all if you are willing to wait the right amount of time to file an LLC in Arizona. Mm-hmm. And they don't come after you with all these other little fees and all this stuff. And the way that these two guys, I can tell these two guys are both from California. And probably were born there, because this is what has been my experience, because I've lived in other states, a lot of other states actually, other than California. Oh yeah, so you got to do this. You got to pay that $800. You got to do this. You got to cut your toenails correctly, and you got to make sure that you look okay, and wear these types and wear Vans, shoes.
What Jack is nicely saying is they don't know better. They just grew up in it.
Yeah,
and that's true. I understand that.
There's you do not have to, just because you live in a state, and this is all states. Forget about California. You can have an LLC in another state. You don't. They all have just separate rules. It's very common. Used to be more common, but it's still common to get a Delaware LLC or a Nevada LLC, regardless of where you are in the country, because the fees are different and the disclosure laws are different.
Keep going.
And it's just, what I'm saying is, my big picture point is this. Don't let these taxing authorities or these municipalities or any of this stuff, these types of people, lead you around by the nose and tell you it has to be this way, because it really doesn't. Do some research on the internet. I would write a book about this and tell you, do A, B, C, and D. But it changes so often that it's silly to do that. There's a bunch of topics in real estate, especially now, and in business, that are so rapidly changing that it's almost better to get your information from really written blogs by attorneys and stuff versus somebody like me.
I was going to add too, if you think, well, oh, that's okay, then I'm sitting in San Diego, I'm going to go get a Nevada LLC, problem solved. There's a very likely chance that you will be on their radar anyway, and they will assign, if you think you just, because I have a Nevada LLC or Delaware LLC or whatever, because you legally can't have an LLC anywhere you want, you don't have to be in that state. But some states, and I'm just very familiar with California, that they will say, oh, we saw something come through the mail coming to your house that had the words LLC on it. It almost feels like it's like that. And they're like, we didn't recognize it. We looked you up. You're not in our book. It just happened to go through the post office. And we're assigning you a number and you owe me $800.
It's very typical.
And that's legal. They can do that. I just want you to know.
It's a very typical scenario in California, what Jill's describing. How they get their information, I'm not sure.
Know.
I personally believe that they their business model is to send everybody out some type of hate note, like you're not doing this right and you're going to get charged unless you do X, Y, and Z. And I think a certain percentage of people comply with that, just getting the first letter, and then they're happy.
Yeah.
So I'm going to say this point again. Please do a lot of research on the internet before you start filing things in states. Just get to know, find a reliable source of information that's very current.
Right.
And don't accept what these people say.
Maybe even check with a couple attorneys.
Yeah.
I don't always go with the first attorney. Let's call a couple attorneys and see what they think is the best and the right thing to do.
This is years ago, had a member come to me and say, my accountant this person was very successful, buying property all over the country and doing very, very well. Came to me half in tears at one of our live events and said, my accountant just informed me that it's tax season. I have to file a federal tax return and a state tax return in every single state where I bought property and sold it this year. If you do the math on that, you're out of business. You wouldn't make any. I mean, it's not that you wouldn't make money. You would owe so much more money in tax that you generated just in revenue.
Right.
So please get information from a reliable source.
Thank you.
Today's topic in a much more positive light.
Yeah.
Introducing Land Academy Classroom. This is the meat of the show.
But I do what I feel like. I feel like we pick all the fun questions, and we've done those over the last few years, and now we're like, all right, it stinks. We're going to have to answer the hard questions and the boring questions and the not fun questions and the painful questions.
Because we have now more than ever some incredibly intelligent, motivated, and successful members.
True.
And they're asking good questions like this. This is
True.
a very, very valid question. And I hate to see these guys just say, I live in California, I always have. I'm doing a California LLC, and I'm going to pay my 16% taxes in. That's just the way it is. That's the price of having good weather.
Yeah. The sunshine tax.
I think there's a little more to it than that.
I don't think that's legit. Okay, so Land Academy Classroom. This came because, like everything we do, people ask for it. Land Academy is a result of people asking for it. The reason we're sitting here is people ask for it. The reason we're still here, I'm not sure.
Well, that's a psychiatry question.
So, hey, that's your problem. But, yeah. So, we have so it's been going on for a while. We heard you, we're doing it. So we already have now and started Land Academy accountability groups. Those are free. They meet once a week in the evenings. We are kicking off the very first one, but as we're just setting the tone and figuring out what's needed and getting the outline of the format down. But then we're going to be in and out. I'm not sure exactly what our involvement's going to be on the accountability groups going forward. It's going to be probably not every week and so on. But this is different. And the accountability is what it says. It's accountability. It's not just it's helping you move through the process, but it's more about what happened last week. Why didn't you do that? What's your hang up? How can I help? Some people are, as the accountability groups go along, people are going to move at different paces, and some people are going to end at the end of the first 10 weeks with us, they might be, working on their 8th deal, and some might still getting a mailer out. It doesn't matter. That's what that's for. The Land Academy classroom is different. This is to hell or no? Can I say hell on this? I guess I just did.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think it's okay.
I think so.
I think both of
Blank
us.
or high water have a agenda and a timeline and course and actionable items that you will be there. And the reason is this is the Land Academy classroom is basically the Land Academy program, but sitting in a classroom.
With us teaching
Exactly.
it.
Not self-study, not you on your own. It's like, hey, you better have this done on Tuesday. You might be up late on Monday because it needs to be on Tuesday or whatever.
It's like taking a college class.
Yeah, because we're doing it and we're moving on without you. We're not going to go back. We're not going to talk about it. You need to be here and be here solid. It's not free, and it's not for people who think this is a hobby. This is for people who are either already are investors and you are here to learn our way to make it better or bring your business to the next level, or you are in it for all the right reasons. You may not be an investor, but you're like, this is my life now. I just retired. I'm putting this much money aside. I'm ready to hit this hard. I just need to learn from the pros, and I'm gonna hire staff right after this. Maybe during the program, that could be part of the things that we're talking about. And I think about it. We could help with staffing up while you're in Land Academy classroom, because you're gonna evolve from that really on your way.
In a perfect world, at the end of the 10 or 12 weeks, I'm not sure what it's going to be yet, you will have bought and sold a property. That's
Or
what this
10.
is for.
It might be more.
And if you've actually came up with some great properties, Jill and I'll fund it.
Yeah.
So this is just for real. It's what I've learned over the few years. There's some people. This whole thing started about a year ago. Jill and I interviewed another couple, a Land Academy couple, and they came to us and said, "I'd like to schedule a consulting call with you because we make about $100,000 a month, and we would like to make $1 million a month, and we're struggling with fill in the blank." And it is things that we have all been through personally. We've all helped other people get over it and watch them get over it and get to that level. And so this is for real. It's a very, very real college level classroom, 10 or 12 weeks, whatever it ends up being, with a syllabus or an agenda or a syllabus. Each class it's already pre-written. It's done actually. Each class is, this is what we're going to cover. Here's your homework for the next class.
Right.
I'm looking forward to it.
Exactly.
Because this is how, here's some truth time. This is my personality, and it's Jill's too, and it's why Jill and I get along so well. If we're going to do it,
Right.
If we're going to do it, we're going to do it. And I've noticed that we're not the only people that think this way in the Land Academy group. That there's maybe 10, 15%, maybe more, they're driven for whatever reason. Maybe they lost their job. Maybe they own a company and they don't make as much money as they wanted to. There's all kinds of reasons to be that driven.
I have something funny to share. I've been carrying around this book. This is truth time. Side note, and I'll tell you more a little bit. I have a few more things on the classroom to share, but I've been carrying around this book because it's exactly what you were just saying. And I'm like, why am I not taking the time to fill out this book? And I'm like, it's like not quite motivational. It's called the productivity handbook or something. And I realized one day I'm carrying this around. I was like, what is this stupid book that you have that you keep carrying around like you intend to work on and you never work on? And I looked at it, I'm like, holy cow, it's the productivity handbook. He's like, well, what's in there? I'm like, it's about putting down and finding motivation and ways to, hold yourself accountable for what you're going to do the next day, the next day, the next day. And I realized the reason I'm not doing it because I don't need any help there. I'm already doing it.
You're the last person who needs to read that book.
I realized.
You're like twice as productive as I am. And I bring that whole thing to an unhealthy level.
I was cracking up going, no wonder this is not singing to me. I keep thinking I need to fill this thing out. I'm like, oh my gosh. I'd write down 3 things and go, well, I did 10 today. And I write down 3 more and go, well, I did 20 today. That's how it would go for me. So that's a good example of who this group is for. You're in it to just kill it here and make this your, not just a business, maybe an empire. I talked about that. So enrollment, some more housekeeping. Enrollment will start in January. There will be a big announcement. There'll be a special page for you to go see. That'll give you all the details. It'll give you an outline for the weeks. It'll tell you what the capacity is. There's a very limited capacity that we're going to allow in these groups because so much of it is Jack and I. It may not be 100% Jack and I, depending on the topic.
Right.
But the majority of it is going to be Jack and I. Sometimes at the same time, sometimes separately,
Very
depending on
limited
what it is.
enrollment and limited class capacity because
A lot of hands-on.
we want to be involved.
Yeah, we're going to really do that. And then, so the enrollment in January, and the first class will begin mid-March. And that's kind of covers everything that I have. I'm excited. It's going to be great. Happy you could join us today. 5 days a week. You can find us right here on the Land Academy Show.
Join us next week for another interesting episode. You are not alone in your real estate ambition. I'm excited for this. I'm excited. We said late last year, 2020, we were going to provide a bunch of new products, and this is one of them. And I'm really excited about this because I know the people that are asking us for it, we've one-off helped people, Jill and I, in a consulting environment and watched them just soar. So I can't wait to have let's call it a 20-person class or some small number like that where we can say, this week we're doing a mailer, so please come ready. Mm-hmm. If you have any questions about Excel, you have a whole week to figure them out on your own because we are going to do a mailer this week.
And it's going to
we're going to get it in the mail.
Well, that too. It's going to be small enough, and we can do side conversations. If someone really needs help with something, I can have a little side dialogue with them. You can do some bless your mailer stuff, and
choose
it's going
to
be really, really awesome.
Yep.
I'm excited too. Thank you for tuning in. We hope you find our content valuable, and we appreciate your support. If you haven't already, please check out our YouTube channel and hit the subscribe button, and please give us some feedback on the shows you love. We are Steven Jill.
Information
and inspiration
to buy undervalued property.